Welcome to Movie Man with Greg and Mr. B. I am your host, Greg, and sitting across from me is...
Mr. B.
Oh, last time you were W, now you're P. Make your mind up, man.
Yeah, I thought maybe it would be funny a second time, but...
I thought it was funny.
Mr. B! What's going on, buddy?
Too much, man. I am under the weather.
So, is your account, like, negative or almost like mine?
My bank account?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Freaking Christmas.
I mean, I got, like, Christmas money. You know what I mean? But, like, who's going to spend that on bills?
Oh, yeah. $60! Woo!
Yeah, I'm out of the hole. No, but I'm super sick, so I just want to give the forewarning. I'm sorry for sniffing and coughing as much as I'm going to. Please bear with me, but I wanted to get this episode out as soon as we could, so sorry. I do have something to say, though. Today's not a very happy day.
Oh, yes.
I literally had my heart sink into my belly this morning.
Yes, me too.
When we found out that the dear Carrie Fisher passed away.
AKA
Princess Leia.
Yes.
Organa.
Me too, dude. I was at work and I was just like, I read it on my phone and I was like, whoa, what? I knew that she had a heart attack. Yeah. But I heard that she was like recovering fine.
Well, yeah, because I was actually like following it and like, because I cared, you know what I mean? When I found out, I was like, what? Did she die? And then she didn't die. And then like a day later or something, it said she was like stable, but she was in intensive care. And I was like, oh, thank God. Right?
Yeah.
And then today it was like RIP. I saw something on Instagram. Someone was like RIP Carrie Fisher, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
No, dude. And like when man, it made me so sad. I instantly posted something in respect, you know.
Yeah, I did too on Twitter. Just especially after seeing the ending of Rogue One, it's kind of weird. It just feels not good.
No, it's sad, dude. And I'm not sure if I got this wrong or right, but I thought I read online that it said that she just completed filming for episode 8.
Yeah.
So she'll be in episode 8, and it's gonna be different now.
Yeah.
Like seeing her, you're like, oh man, you're probably gonna love it that much more though.
Yeah.
She's in it. It's her last thing.
And what really sucks though is that I'm pretty damn positive that they're not gonna kill off her character or say that she died or something in the movie. Like change the script to say that she died because she can't be in episode 9, because that would be disrespectful to her memory. It's probably going to be like a Paul Walker kind of situation.
Yeah.
With Fast and the Furious, how they're just kind of like retired his character.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to have to just be super creative like they did with him.
Yeah, like maybe mention something in like episode 9, like where she went or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or don't kill her off. That'd be disrespectful. But
yeah.
Anyways, RIP Carrie Fisher. May the force always be with you.
Yes.
Anyways, let's get out of this sadness and let's get on to a positive note.
Let's do it.
In the spirit of Christmas, we decided to talk about one of the most successful Christmas movies ever made, especially in the 90s.
And not to mention, it's also known to be just a great classic movie.
It's pretty good year-round.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch it like during the holidays.
Not at all.
But you definitely feel like the effect of it when you watch it during the holidays.
Yes.
And what movie are we talking about, dude?
We are talking about Home Alone.
Home Alone.
I'm
dreaming
of a white
Thanksgiving. Oh, wrong holiday. So Home Alone came out in 1990. It was directed by Chris Columbus.
Chris Columbus?
Santa Claus. Chris Columbus. He produced Harry Potter 1 and Harry Potter 2, and that was 2001, 2002. He was also a writer on The Goonies from 1985 and 1984's Gremlins.
He also founded our country, like... I'm just kidding. That was Christopher Columbus.
I mean, isn't Chris short for Christopher?
Yeah, his name is Christopher Columbus.
What a weird name.
His freaking parents, that's just not cool.
I know, they're like, you know what we should do to our son? Let's just ruin his life. Let's just call him Christopher Columbus.
I wonder how his experience was in freaking 4th grade, 3rd grade when he learned about Christopher Columbus.
They're like, Christopher Columbus discovered America, and all the kids like look at him slowly, like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, that's me. Home Alone was written by John Hughes. He also wrote Home Alone 2 in 1992 and one of my personal favorites, Ferris Bueller's Day Off in 1986.
And he also directed a movie, one of my favorite comedies, called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
That's right. I think he wrote on that as well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Might have, yeah, I don't know.
But he was at least, like you said, yeah.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
I think I've seen bits of it.
Oh, man, it's really, really good.
Is it? Is it
Yeah.
dated?
It's dated, but I promise that if you were to watch it, you would still think it's funny.
Okay. Oh, it's a comedy?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check that
A
out.
comedy with, like, emotional, dramatic scenes, which is pretty cool. Macaulay Culkin stars as the main character. He plays Kevin McAllister. And it's also co-stars Joe Pesci, who plays Harry. And it also co-stars Daniel Stern, who plays Marv, my personal favorite character in the whole movie. It also co-stars John Hurd, Hurd.
Probably heard.
Yeah, he plays Peter McAllister, Kevin's dad. And it also stars Catherine O'Hara. I'm sure that you guys know who she is. She plays Kate McAllister, which is Kevin's mom.
Kevin! How many times does she do that in the film?
Kevin! I don't know.
It's iconic.
At least twice.
The plot of Home Alone goes as so. An 8-year-old troublemaker named Kevin must protect his home from a pair of burglars when he is accidentally left home alone by his family during Christmas vacation. Worst parents in history, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, pretty ridiculous. They, like, leave the kid at home. Not only do they do that, but they get on an airplane and fly away. I mean, really? CPS, anybody? Child Protective Services? It's ridiculous. Leave your kid home for days by themselves. What was he in the first movie? 8 years old?
I think he was only gone for like a day.
No, I'm pretty sure it was like a few days. Remember? Because the
it?
mom was trying to get home. Was it really just one day?
Well, I think maybe 2 days. No, I think it was 2 days because there's that whole scene where he goes to the grocery store.
Yeah.
The second day, because the first day he wakes up, realizes they're not there, and parties, pretty much, and then he goes to sleep, I think, and he's all sad. And then the next day he wakes up, and that's when he like goes to the store and buys like milk and a toothbrush and stuff. And then he goes home, and then I think that night is when all the shenanigans happen.
Yeah.
And then I think don't
get scared now.
and then the next morning the mom comes home.
Yeah.
Just around the same time as the family got home. And they took 2 different ways home from a different country.
Ridiculous.
Let's get into the trivia time. I'd like to go first if you don't mind.
Absolutely not. No, go ahead. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Catherine O'Hara, the woman who plays Kevin's mom, revealed in 2014 that Macaulay Culkin still calls her mom. I thought that was cool.
Nice.
Not really a fact about the movie, but just an interesting little fun
That's
fact.
really, really cool and disrespectful to his real mom.
Who he probably murdered. He's freaking weird, dude.
Yeah, indeed. Have you seen his hair? Have you seen his face? He looks so weird now, man.
I know. Well, I think he did have a little stint with drugs for a minute.
That doesn't jack up
He
your
also
head.
was friends with Michael Jackson.
Like, he just looks like his head looks weird. I don't know.
Even his brother, though, Rory Culkin,
Yeah.
also kind of looks weird. Like
Yeah,
they have a really long, skinny faces.
Yeah, they look weird. Yeah, they just have a Culkin look about them.
The kind of quirky Culkins. Also, another fact is Joe Pesci deliberately avoided Macaulay Culkin on set because he wanted Macaulay Culkin to think he was mean.
Ah, just to add to the
tension?
the experience. Yeah.
Experience? Yeah, but I mean, kind of like, I think some of the best films are when people have good chemistry.
Yeah.
You know, if they could really play off of each other. But if Joe Pesci was kind of like stiff-arming him, maybe they never got a chance to get that chemistry. Could you imagine if they like befriended each other on set?
Yeah.
And then like it could have been like a...
I mean, it really worked out. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out. Also, did you know that Kevin's bedwetting cousin Fuller is played by Macaulay Culkin's actual younger brother?
I did know that.
Kieran or something Culkin?
Kieran. He actually, a movie that I know him in right off the bat is She's All That. He plays a small role in that movie. He plays the main actress's little brother in that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Another fun fact, John Candy, you remember he's in it for a minute, right?
Yes.
He's the guy in the polka band or whatever.
Yeah.
He improvised all of his lines.
Really?
Yeah, did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know.
Polka, polka.
The late John Candy ate too much candy. Also, Joe Pesci kept forgetting that he was filming a family movie during his character's on-screen outbursts, so director Chris Columbus advised him to say fridge instead of the F word. You got to think, they got Joe Pesci around the time he was doing like My Cousin Vinny
And
Goodfellas, where every word is the F word.
Yeah, and it's violent as hell.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's in like this family Christmas movie. He's probably like, hey, what are you, like, I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
Also, the line that Kevin says where he goes, "You guys give up, or are you thirsty for more?" was also improvised.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome. By Macaulay Culkin.
That's pretty dope. He's
Yeah.
like a young kid,
Yeah.
just come up with a line that's
Yeah,
pretty good. I
totally.
like that. I'm good with fun facts. What about you?
Yeah. Let's
Good.
get into our.
I know I kind of took over the fun facts, but I had a lot of them.
Yeah. No. I mean, if you've got some, go for it.
Oh, I got some.
I unfortunately did not have any for this film.
It's all good. Okay, now I have a question. This is a new thing I want to start asking you, asking each other throughout the episode.
Let's do it.
Who is your favorite character, and who is your least favorite character of this movie?
I like that. That's a very good idea for the show. My favorite character was Marv. I just always thought he was funny and very animated, and his acting is really, really good. If you watch the movie and just as an adult and look at his acting, it's superb. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he really plays the part of a freaking idiot burglar, you know?
Yeah.
And I just always, every time he was on the screen, I loved it. I liked Joe Pesci too, but I just thought that he was funnier. Like when he crawls through the window and he slams his feet down onto the Christmas ornaments. When he steps on the nail.
All of
going
his
up-
reactions are so spot on funny.
When he screams, like when he steps on the nail.
Yeah.
He's just like, ah! And he falls backwards. Dude, I just always thought it was hilarious. My least favorite character in the movie?
Yeah. It could be literally be anybody. It doesn't have to be like the stars.
I actually know. I don't know the character's name, and I don't think he's worth looking it up. He's like his cousin or something at the beginning of the movie.
Which one?
Not his brother Buzz. I thought his character
The
was
redhead
funny.
other one though?
Like the guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
And they're
he's
all-
like, Peter, you're such Kevin, you're such a disease.
No,
guy?
not that guy.
Oh no?
No. It was a guy with glasses, and there's one scene where him and Buzz, or Kevin, Buzz, and this guy are looking out the window at the shovel old man.
Oh, he's got the black like curly hair kind of.
Yeah, and he's got
Yeah.
the glasses.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just don't like that guy's face.
Well, I was actually gonna say, now I'll just get into mine straight up.
Yeah.
My least favorite is the guy I just said. Kevin, you're such a disease.
Yeah.
That's the redhead kid brother, right?
Yeah.
He also
Or cousin.
He oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Something.
He co-starred in that Nickelodeon show. I don't know if you may be too old for it, but it was like The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
I never heard of it.
It was on like during all that and stuff, like that era.
Oh, I don't recall.
Yeah, you may be a little too old for that, but yeah, he was also on a Nickelodeon show.
Interesting.
But my favorite character, I'd want to say the same person you just said,
Yeah.
Marv, but I think that's too predictable
Yeah.
because he's so funny.
Kevin.
I am actually going to say probably Kevin.
Yeah.
He's probably my favorite character, and I didn't want to just go with that because it's like the main dude, but
Yeah.
he actually, like, his lines are so funny, and his comedy, like the way he expresses himself and his jokes, and like, it's funny, dude. I like him.
Yeah.
So he's my favorite character.
Understandable.
Well, so what did you think of this movie, like, overall?
I thought it was good. Great, dude. I've always loved it. When I was a kid, I was introduced to it at a very young age, and it was a classic to me. I would watch it over. I've always been the kind of guy to watch movies over and over again.
Right.
And this was no exception. I loved it. And to this day, if I was bored and just chilling at home and I came across it on TV, I would not skip it. I'd probably watch it if there was nothing else better on, you know? It's a great movie to rewatch over and over again.
It is. I love it. So let me ask you, with that being said, what kind of gripes do you have about this film? There's got to be some things you don't like about it.
I don't like how, I guess, like, if I'm going to nitpick,
Yeah.
it's unrealistic. I don't really buy that first of all, that the parents would leave the kid there and fly to a different state. And then also, on top of that, the two burglars are such idiots that they're actually outsmarted by this 8-year-old. And, like, he kicks their ass at the end of the movie. And it's
Yeah.
like, come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In reality, if that were to happen, the freaking kid would have been kidnapped or so. You know what I mean? Like some serious, dramatic, real life shit would have gone down.
Yeah.
And this is just a kid's movie or, a family movie. And it's just not realistic. That's probably my biggest gripe. But that's pretty much it. I like everything else about it.
Yeah.
What about you?
I say some of my gripes are, some of the things that you said about like an 8-year-old kid like outsmarted two fully grown men.
It's ridiculous.
It's kind of silly. And there's a few things that don't make sense. Like I kind of joked on a little earlier where I said the mom at the end of the movie comes home. Remember, she's the one who like walks through the door.
Yeah.
And she looks over and like her and Kevin see each other and they hug and stuff. And then like minutes later, the rest of the family comes walking in.
Yeah.
Do you remember that like one of them took like a plane home from Paris and one of them took like a shuttle bus?
Oh, I know. And like a couple minutes later, they all show up after her. It's like, what the hell are the chances of that?
And on top of that, the mom, do you remember in the movie when she's desperately trying to like get a ticket or something?
Yeah.
She like gives away, I think like a Rolex and like diamond earrings and stuff and a ring. Probably like $10,000 or more worth of stuff.
Yeah. And then she ends up getting there just a little bit earlier than the people that just did the normal thing.
I know. Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I forgot about that. That's ridiculous.
That's funny, though. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, you ready to get into our top 5?
Let's do it.
You know what time it is?
It's time for top 5.
That was good. All right, so do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Number 5.
My number 5 is a specific scene in the movie where he's at the grocery store, I think it is, like, and he goes up to the counter with his toothbrush, and he's like, "Excuse me, is this toothbrush recognized by the National..." Like,
oh yeah,
I forget exactly what he says, but like, "Is this toothbrush recognized by the National Dental Association or some shit like that?"
Yeah, I think it's that.
And then the woman is like, "I don't know. Herb, is this toothbrush recognized by the National Dentist Association?"
That's
or something?
funny.
And it shows him, and he's like, "I don't know." And then right after that, he sees the scary old man, and then like you forget about that scene. But I always thought that was just ridiculous. I'm sure, like, they're gonna know that. It's just,
that's funny, man.
Like, who wrote that? Like, a little boy would want to know something like that. I'm sure. You know?
Well, you know what's funny though is like when I used to work at a retail store that sold a lot of crafts. I'll put it that way. And I remember people would come in all the time and be like, they would ask me like ridiculous questions about products. Like, do you know this and blah, 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 and like the history of that and like where this, and I'm like they were like really wanted to know, right? And I'm like, I don't know. I make like $9 an hour. Like, I barely come to work. I don't know what kind of clay goes in the oven or not. I could just tell you like what area of the store it is. That's about it.
That's funny.
But yeah, dude, that's a really good scene. Yeah, that's a really good scene. I like that. I'm just thinking about it, and it's like the old woman, and he's at like a Rite Aid or something.
Yeah,
you know, like they just come here and like sit behind a cash register. They're not like dental like assistants and know these things, you know.
Yeah,
it's funny though.
But just like her reaction, she's like, I don't know, and then she like thinks that she's gonna ask someone else, like he might know, like, "Herb, is this toothbrush recognized by the..." And his reaction is hella funny. If you watch it as an adult now, you're hella funny. He's like, "I don't know."
Yeah, I know, right? That's funny. My number 5 is I want to address this in my number 5. I put the scheme, dressing up like a cop. In the beginning of the movie when when Harry, right?
Yeah.
Why do I keep wanting to say the tall guy is Harry?
I don't know.
It just seems like he'd be a Harry. Anyways, when Harry goes in the beginning of the movie and he's dressed up like a cop, remember?
Yeah.
And Mr. McAllister comes down and he's like, "Whoa, am I under arrest or something?" You know?
Yeah.
And he's like, No, I just want to talk to you. You know, a lot of families are going out of town, traveling for the holidays, and I want to make sure you're taking the proper precautions for your house and stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, I got an alarm here and this and that and stuff, and we're leaving." "Oh, cool, where are you going?" "Oh, we're going to Paris."
Yeah.
And he's like giving this robber every detail you should not give a robber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? "We're going to be out of town from here to here pretty much." Like, yep, this is the type of a system I have. We're going to be leaving at this time. And you know what I mean? And it's actually, if you think about it, imagine being Mr. McAllister. You have like the most baller house ever on the block, right? You're there. You have a huge family. Everything's hectic. You have a huge family like pizza party going on. And then you're leaving in the morning to go to Paris, right? And you're rich. And then a cop comes in, right? And he's already in your house because somebody let him in, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if necessarily you'd walk up and be like, "Whoa, I need to see some identification," to a police officer in your house.
Yeah.
I think your reaction kind of would be what his reaction was.
Well, I think these days it'd be different. I think you'd walk up and be like, "What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?"
But
You
in
know?
the 1990,
yeah,
yeah, I think it's more just like you trust people a lot more back then.
yeah,
A lot of things aren't as negative as they are now.
yeah,
But that's like the reaction you'd have where you're like, hey, what's up? You know, what's going on? What are you in my house for? And then
Yeah.
a cop is like, I'm just going door to door, making sure that people with nice things are taking the proper precautions so people don't rob them.
yeah,
That's like, I'd be like, oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we got an alarm system in the back. You know, we're going to lock up. Yeah. I'm that kind of guy. I'm like a chatty Cathy, you know,
Yeah.
where I kind of just like sometimes give up way too much information
Yeah.
that I shouldn't give up sometimes, you know, and just because I'm very trusting in people. So it's like, I understand why he did that. And it's like a brilliant scheme.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like some guy who's just like, I'm here to fix your heater in your backyard and
Yeah.
you leaving town. You know, like that's sketchy. But somebody dressed up like a cop, you trust a cop. You
Yeah.
know, from the beginning when you just see one. So I totally buy that. And I think that's a very clever scheme, to be honest.
yeah, and really good writing too. Yeah,
Yeah, as long as you have the proper like, we live in Sacramento, so if we had like Sacramento PD,
Uh-huh.
like a patch on their jacket, would you? And they had the same color, uniform, and style. Would you really be like, wait, are you a cop? You know, you would just assume they'd be a cop.
yeah.
So, yeah, brilliant scheme. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is all the Christmas music.
Oh, yes, I was going to put that too.
There's like so many Christmas songs, and honestly, like when I've been listening to Christmas music for like the past month now, and every time specific ones come on,
Yeah.
I think of Home Alone,
Yeah,
and that I'm like, damn, this is like the first time I really got to know this song was watching Home Alone. You know, it's just like they really made those songs for me, and there's not really much more I can say on that. It's just I like all the Christmas music, just like it.
I agree. The score of this movie, just the soundtrack, dude, it's very well composed.
Yeah,
Like, very nice. Like, they even have, like, you remember that scene where Kevin, like, is outside or something, and he sees, like, the clock or something ring, and he knows he's like, I gotta get
Yeah.
home and set things up, you know?
Yep.
And when he sees that, he starts running down the sidewalk.
yeah,
It just goes from, like, simple harmonizing Christmas angels, it sounds like,
Yeah.
music, to just dun 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 dun, and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, and it's like setting you up, you know, to like something. It's about to get intense, you know.
yeah.
They do a really good job setting the mood.
Yeah, and using
music.
Christmas music to do it.
Yeah,
Like that's impressive, you know?
like it doesn't have to be like heavy metal, like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's still pretty music.
Yeah, I
but
mean
it's
a
intense.
lot exactly. A lot of movies would just they wouldn't even put in a specific song. They would just create sound
Right.
effects to go like scary sound effects to go
Yeah.
with what's going on. In this movie they somehow made it seem intense with a Christmas song. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
just really impressive. But yeah, what's your number 4?
My number 4, I put The Furnace.
Ah,
You know, every time the first time when his parents are gone, the first time he goes down to like do his laundry, or does he just poke his head down at first, or does he bring like a laundry basket with him and then get too scared?
I don't recall.
But I know he goes down into the basement and there's that cellar thing. And to be honest, when this movie came out in 1990, I was just born. I was born in 89, like the end of 89.
Okay.
So this movie came out like when I came out, pretty much, with my mom. And so when I saw it, it must have been out for years already. I must have been 5 or 6 when I first saw it.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that furnace scene, and they made the furnace look so scary.
Yeah.
When it's like, do, and it's like really weird music, and then like sound effects, and then it glows, and it's scary, and it's like a monster.
And you can
he
hear it laughing and shit.
Yeah, it's like freaky. And
Yeah.
it scared me a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I like that's why I put it as my number 4 about the furnace. I like how he goes down and he's terrified of something, because like I can relate as being a kid, and like sometimes like my mom or dad would have me like go out in the garage or go out do something for him and bring something in, you know? And when I'd go out there, it's like silent and it's like intense, and you're like, as a kid, you have a crazy imagination.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh, is something out here? You know, it just kind of scared. I don't know. For me, it's still kind of to this day, like if I go downstairs and it's all quiet and dark and there's like one light on and everybody's upstairs sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I get a little freaked out, especially after seeing Lights Out.
Yeah.
I get a little like,
dude, I know.
or if like, okay, this is funny. It's kind of embarrassing, but I'll tell you anyways. If there's like a room and there's like a wall going along like half the room and there's a light on in a different room, sometimes like the light will shine on half the room and then there'll be like just a line and then it's like shadow on the other side. You kind of understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'm in the light part or if I'm in the shadow part, I will kind of like skip a little bit faster to the light. Just because I'm like, I saw that scary movie a long time ago, Darkness Falls or something. When Darkness Falls. And the premise is that like there's like a tooth fairy lady and she gets you in the dark, but if you're in the light, she can't get you. And ever since I saw that freaking movie when I was like 13 or something, it like messed with my mind. And every time I'm like almost to the light, I kind of just like skip really fast to get to the light. Yeah, still to this day, I'm 27 almost. So yeah, embarrassing, but it's the truth.
Yeah, dude, I have to get up in the middle of the night to go get water, to go to the bathroom sometimes, and like I still get a little heebie-jeebied sometimes. I'm like walking out there, especially if we forget to keep like we keep one specific light on in my living room, just like one little dim kind of light that just kind of, if somebody needs to go out there to get something to drink, there's like it's illuminated,
right?
And sometimes we'll forget to turn that on, so I'll walk out there and it's pitch black, and I'm like, son of a bitch. Like not only can I not see, but like I don't like complete pitch black unless I'm in my bedroom with my fiance, like going to bed. You know what I mean? Like,
I still don't like pitch black, dude.
Yeah,
I hate it. I hate it. It's I mean, I'm such a horror movie lover that like I've seen so many. That,
you know what's even worse than what I was just saying?
What
is when you get home from somewhere and nobody's home and all the lights are off at night and you're the first person to go in the house and you have to walk through the house and turn on lights. Oh my God, I hate that, dude. I'm just like, this would be the time that somebody's in my house.
Right.
Because nobody was here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I watch a lot of horror movies, and I mean, people should know by now if you've went to my YouTube channel, there's horror stuff in my mind all the time, you know?
Right. And you have a good imagination at this age still, so it's like,
yeah.
It's like, I gotta tell you a quick story too. This is so off topic, but who cares? Remember the movie The Strangers?
Oh, yes.
Okay, remember she's home alone because, pun intended, she's home alone because her guy who she's dating, she basically rejected his proposal, and he's embarrassed and stuff, and he's like, I gotta go get cigarettes or something, and he leaves.
It's for her.
Oh, for her.
She wanted cigarettes, yeah. And she's like, she's like, you don't have to, and he's like, no, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I want you to be happy, you know?
Yeah.
He's a good guy in that movie.
So he leaves, and she's by herself.
Yeah.
And then just, like, pounding, like, poof, poof, poof.
That movie's so scary, dude.
I know.
Oh.
Remember that part, though?
Yeah. I remember the movie vividly.
She first opens the door, and the lady's like, is this girl home?
Yeah.
And she's like, no. Oh, or something like that, right? And then, like, shuts the door, and that girl keeps, like, knocking.
And then she says the same thing again, and then that's when you know, like...
someone's messing with you.
Something's not right. Yeah.
This isn't some normal girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it, like, zooms in on the door slowly, and then it goes... poof, 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 and it's, like, loud and, like, surround sound pretty much, and it's, like, scary, right?
Yeah.
And so I was watching that for the first time by myself.
So did I, dude. And at night by myself alone.
Late at night by myself alone. And I was, this is when I lived with one of my friends in her house, right? When I think I was 19, right? I didn't know where she was, and she was off doing something. She was gone out from the house, and I was by myself watching it late at night. And then when the movie was over, literally within like a minute, I got up from the couch to go into the kitchen, and I heard boosh, 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 boosh. And I was like, oh my God. And I was so scared, man. Like, you don't watch a movie like that, and then you're by yourself at night, and then the same thing just happens to you in real life.
Yeah, and then you're cool with it.
Yeah, dude, I froze in the kitchen. I just was like staring like at the door, and I was like, oh my God. And I just heard boom, 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 and kept knocking. And then all of a sudden, like, I looked through the thing, and it's my roommate. And she's like, dude, let me in. It's freezing out here. It's like she didn't have her house key. And so, like, she was just banging on the door. She's like, dude, it's freezing. And I was like, oh, thank God. And I'm like, I hate you so much. You know how scared I was right now? That was funny. I actually forgot about that until we just started talking about that.
Dude, we should do The Strangers next.
I'm down.
Yeah, you want to?
Okay.
Yeah, let's do The Strangers next.
Yes.
Because I have a lot to say about that movie.
Okay. Okay, yeah, dude. I'm down.
Cool. All right, let's get back to Home Alone, though.
Sure. So, like I said, my number 4 was The Furnace. It's just, I just relate a lot to that even as an adult now when you look back on it and you're a kid and there's things like that scare you for no reason, but, you know, it scares you and eventually you overcome it and eventually Kevin overcame it, which was like kind of a cool moment.
Yeah.
That's my number 4. So, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is the silly stuff that happens to him that's not regarding... that doesn't have anything to do with the burglars. Like when he's just being a little boy. like he sets up the freaking like toboggan at the top of the stairs.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
like opens the front door. And, like, he's, like, about to go down. I always watch that, and I was like, that shit would be fun, man.
Always.
But at the same time, like, watching it, like, the camera angle when the thing, like, tilts forward, like, and you're just about to go down, I was always just like, oh, my gosh. Like, that would be so intense, so fun, and so scary at the same time, you know? And, just that, like, and when he puts the aftershave on his face, he's trying to be like a man.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he shaves, and he puts the aftershave on, and he's like, ah!
Did you know he was trying to mimic that painting? That Scream painting.
Oh, really?
You know how
Dude, he looks just like him.
Right, he was trying to do that, and he pulled it off pretty good.
Yeah. And, just...
when he gets that BB gun, and he's, like,
Yeah.
shooting the little Indians dude
yeah,
or
just,
whatever.
yeah,
down the
all of
garbage
his
or
little
the chute.
boy silly shit. Just
Yeah.
funny. But, yeah. What about you? What's your number 3?
My number 3, this is going to be funny. My number 3, I just put the mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
You remember when he, like, it's at nighttime, and he's at home, sitting at the table by himself, and he's praying for his family.
And it's like a beautiful Christmas, like...
And he's got
seeing
candles and stuff. That mac and cheese looked so good, dude. And I'm hungry right now, and I'm thinking about it. Like, dude, I'm gonna make mac and cheese when I go inside. But it looked so good, and it's just like a frozen pack of mac and cheese.
But dude, I have to agree. When I was a little boy, I looked at that and I was like, "That's like the best looking macaroni and cheese I've ever seen in my life."
I know, right?
Yeah.
I just every time I think of Home Alone, that's one of the first things that pops in my mind is him sitting there with the mac and cheese.
Yeah. Looks
Yeah,
really
I
good.
love that part. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is when the robbers break in and they're heading up the stairs, and he throws a can of paint over the side of the rail, and it's connected to a rope.
Yeah.
And it smacks one of them in the face. And then he's like, "Don't worry, I'll get him." He turns, and another one smacks him in the face, and they just both fly to the floor. Like, I thought that was so funny when I was a kid.
know.
Even now, if I see that, it's just like, because now I'm an adult and I can kind of imagine what that would feel like, and it would hurt like immensely. Like,
Yeah.
like you wouldn't believe. Imagine getting hit in the face with a paint bucket. You know what
I was
mean?
listening to a podcast, and their episode was about Home Alone, and it was funny because they did this little like segment thing where they were like, "Is Kevin a murderer?" And they're like, "Let's name all the things that he does to the burglars," and then they're like, throwing a full can of paint down the stairs and like hitting a guy straight in his face, and he falls down a flight of stairs. Do you think that would kill him? They're like, yeah, I think it would. Kevin's a murderer. Okay. Sets up like a nail sitting on this, and he falls down this, and like, you know, like Kevin's a murderer. Yeah. I thought that
dude.
was funny.
Putting a nail on the stair, like, dude, that's ruthless. That
Ruthless. He was out for
hurt.
blood, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, he was out for blood.
Yeah. So what's your number 2?
My number 2 is it's a scene when Kevin goes to the grocery store, not like the Rite Aid, but the grocery store, and he's getting like eggs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Remember? And he's putting all his stuff up on the conveyor belt, and there's like that girl who's working there, the cashier,
Yeah.
kind of smacking her gum, and she's like, "How old are you?" And he's like, 8 or something. She's like, "Where are
do
your
you-"
parents?"
Yeah.
He's like, "They're in the car." She's like,
Where do you live?
"Yeah, this is my number 2 right here." Is that line that he says, "I can't tell you. Why not? Because you're a stranger," or something like that.
Yeah, the way he says it.
Yeah.
Sure is strange.
Oh man, I laughed so hard at that part.
It's kind of a weird thing for like somebody to say, like a cashier, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
she-
yeah.
She wouldn't grill him like that. Like, it's not against the law. It's not that unusual for a little boy. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but like, you wouldn't ask him where he lives. You know what I mean? Would you? Like,
Well, okay. I would have done what she did, where she's saying like, "How old are you?" You know, because
Yeah.
you ask kids all the time, "How old are you?" You know.
yeah,
And then he's like, "I'm 8" or whatever, and she goes, "Where are your parents?"
yeah.
They're in the car.
But I would not say,
that-
where do you live?
No, that's where
Yeah.
I would end the conversation.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, okay." You know, because people do. Sometimes the mom didn't wear makeup or something in the morning, got curlers in her hair or whatever, and she'll drive up. She needs a thing of milk. She'll send the kid in. You know.
Yeah.
With, "Here's $5, bringing me back the change." Like, how
Yeah.
many times have you done that?
Yeah, probably a handful when I was a kid.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you know, I've
Yeah.
done that too. So it's not that unusual, especially in the 90s. Maybe now, like, since people are freaking weirdos now,
Yeah.
I'd probably be like, "Are you okay?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe
Yeah.
because I'm concerned for a child, but
Yeah.
no, I definitely
Totally.
wouldn't grill him, especially during the 90s. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is definitely all of the traps at the end of the movie.
Nice.
The whole scene. Just all of it. That's the part that I always look forward to the most. It's so entertaining to see them step on the ornaments, step on the nail, get the freaking glue blown onto his face and then the feathers blown onto his face. Just everything. You know what I mean? When they're climbing across the rope and he like cuts it with those big ass scissors.
Oh, the shears.
Like, yeah, the shears. Thank you. Yeah, all of that. Just that's easily my number one. But like Home Alone, like a Home Alone movie is not a Home Alone movie without all the traps at the end of the movie.
Right. Okay, let me ask. What is your favorite contraption that he makes?
Easily the paint buckets. That's why I had to give it its own special number. Like, it was just so funny to me. Either that or he kind of improvises when they catch him for a second. He's like, I got him! And he sees the tarantula, and he grabs it and puts it on his face.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's like the funniest part of the movie.
Yeah.
When he puts them on his face and he screams high-pitched.
His reaction is like pure real. Like, dude, it looked real. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it was real. Another fun fact is that tarantula, they did not take the fangs out or the poison.
What?
Yeah, so that's probably a real reaction.
He puts it on his face. And he's just like, dude, the way that Marv screams in the movie over and over again is just so funny.
Yeah, dude, I completely agree with that. I think one of my favorite contraptions that he does is, it's so brutal. It's not the nail. It's when he takes the blowtorch thing. And he's like holding it on the door handle.
Yeah.
And when Harry goes up to grab it, it just burns his hand, and he's like, ah! And like has to go like throw it in like some ice and stuff. And he slips on the patio because he like iced it down.
Yeah.
Dude, those guys get freaking effed up.
They do. It's hilarious, man.
If
you watch it as an adult now, you're like, you'll still crack up at all this stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
all of that stuff would hurt so badly.
The jokes are like, that's what I love about movies that I saw when I was younger. They're like funny for the child portion of it, but then as an adult, there's a lot of like things you didn't get.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, whoa, wow, that's in there. You know, that's cool. There's this part that Marv says. I think it's when they're first breaking in and they're in the basement or whatever, and Harry says something where he's like, he's just a kid, or he's like, the kid's home or something like that, and Marv's like, so what? He's just a kid. Kids are stupid.
Yeah.
That's such like an adult reaction to say, like, kids are stupid. Like, they're not going to get it.
That's right. He does say that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that just sticks with me. So that's why I like that part.
All right. So what's your number one?
My number one is, it's a small thing, but it's very iconic to me in my memory of this movie. When the clock goes off and he knows that the robbers are going to come.
Yeah.
It's also the same scene where he's eating his macaroni and cheese.
Yeah. And he has to stop. Like, he doesn't even get to eat it at all, if I remember. He doesn't even take one bite.
No, he finishes praying, and like right before he does, because the clock goes off and the alarm goes off, and he gets like kind of like, he jumps a little bit, like, you know, and he like looks at it, and he's like, and he gets up really fast, remember? Yep. And he like throws his napkin off of his lap onto the table.
Yeah. And
then he like goes to the two candles and he goes, yeah, he blows them out, and it's just like, that's when he's setting everything up. Yeah. And there's really like hardcore like Christmas tunes, but it's like it's really setting, you know, it sets the tone really good.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I don't know,
go time. Like,
it's go time. Yeah, it's like go time. It's like you get up and you just start like defending your territory, you know what I mean? Like, he knows these guys are coming, there's no getting away from it. And he like does what a kid would do, and he like sets up traps, and like I guarantee Kevin's not sitting there thinking like, can I go to jail if like somebody impales themselves with a rusty nail on you know what I mean? Like, no, he's just like, I'm gonna do anything I can to defend myself, you know, I'm by myself, I'm home alone.
Yeah.
You know, and
I just thought the paint bucket was the most brutal of all. Like, I'm gonna take this paint bucket and like hopefully it hits him directly in the face. You know what I mean? Like, that would F someone up in real life. Like, you'd be at the bottom of the stairs, like, what just happened? You know what I mean?
I know.
You wouldn't die, I don't think, but you would definitely be laying down there like, oh, like seeing stars. Like, what just happened to me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would hurt so bad. But yeah.
Oh man, good top 5, dude. Good top 5. So indeed. I want to ask you, what would you rate Home Alone?
I would rate Home Alone a good 3 out of 5.
What?
Yeah, 3.
I'm saying 4 out of 5.
Really?
Yeah, why are you 3 out of 5?
Because it's dated, because I've seen so many movies since then that are better, and because it's very unrealistic. It's still a classic, which is why I'm not going to knock it down. I do like the movie, but it's just an average movie, honestly, to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm going to go way higher on that. I don't think it's dated, to be honest. Like, when I think dated, I think, like, bad CGI, or like really old hairstyles and stuff.
Yeah.
And like this movie doesn't have much of that. Maybe the mom, she might have like an older 90s hairstyle, but other than that, like it doesn't feel that dated to me. It still like holds up in my opinion.
I can agree.
But I think it's really funny. The jokes are still really funny when you watch them. And like, yeah, it's a classic, you know what I mean? And I'm one to say like, just because it's a classic doesn't mean it's good, in my opinion. But this movie I think is really good. I think it's funny, and I think it's always a good go-to movie, like we said, throughout the year, or especially around Christmas time.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And it's Macaulay Culkin. He was supposed to be like the next Shirley Temple. That's what they said, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think he ever did, but
didn't happen.
No. He became Michael Jackson's best friend. That's a little different. But yeah, no, I definitely a 4 out of 5 for me. It's a top-notch Christmas film.
I respect it.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sick.
It's all good.
Doing
man.
my best here.
It's all good.
I still want to jump into this though while we're on the episode. This isn't related to Home Alone, but it is related to the holidays that we just had. I want to hear just like some opinions about some other Christmas movies from you.
Okay.
Like, what's your all-time favorite Christmas movie?
Easily Christmas Vacation starring Chevy Chase.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love that movie.
Oh.
I like all the music. It really feels Christmassy to me. It's a must-watch for me every year around Christmas time.
I remember I think you actually showed me this movie several years ago, probably when I was like 17.
Christmas Vacation?
Yeah. I did not like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's because it was like that is an older movie, and I saw it like recent times.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm not in the right time frame to see that movie.
That always happens to me nowadays when somebody tries to show me like an old movie.
Right.
I'm just like, I can't like it. It's too old, you know? I'm sorry. Like, I can try my hardest, but I just can't.
Like, you can try and appreciate it too for its time.
Yeah,
but it's
still,
too old to enjoy.
It's like
it.
I just saw Captain America: Civil War a couple weeks ago,
Right?
And now you want me to like somehow like this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like nothing against the movie. They're just too old sometimes. You know?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. One of my favorite. This is my favorite Christmas movie, Elf.
Yes.
Starring Will Ferrell.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is my favorite Christmas movie. I'd say you could watch it throughout the year, but it definitely like it would be kind of weird watching it in June.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's definitely my favorite because Will Ferrell is like one of my favorite comedy actors.
We can't leave out A Christmas Story. A Christmas Story's classic.
Oh, let's talk about that right now.
Well, I don't really have anything to say. It's just
why do you like that movie so much?
Just the feel. It's like it takes place like the time that it takes place. It's like in the 50s, if I'm not mistaken, and it's just old fashioned. Like everything they do in that movie, it's just really Christmassy. Just you know what I mean. Like I love the scenes of him and his friends at school. Just you know what I mean. I just really really like it.
Isn't there a scene where they're always getting bullied by these kids, and then like he steps up and just like beats the crap out of one of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that part.
He steps up and beats the crap out of like the bully, the head bully.
Yeah, and the kid's crying or something and runs away.
Yeah, and like he gets up and his like blood smeared across his face. It's like,
yeah,
damn, he fucked him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I also want to throw in this movie too.
Let's do it.
This is my wife's favorite movie.
Let's hear it.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Jim Carrey version.
I like that movie.
Yeah, surprisingly, that's a lot of people's favorite Christmas movie.
You know what? I have a little fun fact about that really quick.
Yeah.
When that movie was being made, they weren't going to make it like a fun family Christmas movie. They were going to make that a horror movie.
Ugh.
And it would have been weird, dude. But I was so excited for it to be a horror movie, like a new Grinch live movie with Jim Carrey, and it's going to be scary. That's going to be freaking gnarly, like crazy. And then they changed it.
Where he like kills who's and stuff.
I don't know.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but I like that movie. It's really funny. It's really funny. I got a fun fact about that too, actually. The contact lenses that Jim Carrey had to wear in his eyes to make them the colors that they were constantly irritated his eyes, and he could barely see out of them. So all those scenes where he's acting as and you see him on screen, he's wearing those. He's like suffering through those lines.
Damn,
that's a straight up professional right there.
Oh yeah, dude, we're talking about Jim Carrey here. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What are some other good Christmas movies?
The Santa Claus starring Tim Allen.
Just watched that the other night on Netflix.
Yeah, I like that movie. I watched it on Netflix too on Christmas Eve.
I think
I really like that one.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think the movie starts to go downhill
real fast actually.
Like after he leaves the North Pole it gets kind of boring, and then more boring, and then the end of the movie, you're just like, I don't care anymore.
Oh my God, you're talking about. It's really exciting when he's like first delivering gifts and stuff,
Yeah.
and then they go to the North Pole, and that's when they meet
Yeah,
Judy.
all of
the
that's
elf and
really
stuff.
good. Yeah.
and then when they go home and they wake up in the morning, the mom comes to pick up Charlie.
Yeah, still good at that point, but that's the point where it starts to go down.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's
Yeah.
when he starts doing like presentations and stuff at work.
Yeah,
And it's like, stupid.
yeah. I just think the movie gets boring.
Okay, I thought I was the only one who was thinking that. So that's funny you think that in the same part that I do.
Yeah,
That's a
But-
good one.
yeah. Especially the very beginning when they're like going to Denny's and like the Christmas music and like, you know what I mean? Like the ladder
Right.
appears and they get up on the roof. That's the best part of the movie is the beginning, you know?
Yeah,
And then it like goes down. It like gradually gets worse.
yeah,
The whole movie, like the very beginning's the best. The very end is the worst. It's like, you know,
yeah. I
But,
do.
yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot as a kid. I'll tell you that much.
me too.
So, also, I want to ask this of your opinion.
Okay.
What do you think of The Nightmare Before Christmas? Is that a horror movie? Not horror, but is that an October movie or a December movie?
See, that's why it's so brilliant. It's both.
Do you really believe that, or do you
Oh, it's definitely.
do you
more of
relate
a
with one
Halloween
more
movie.
than the other?
It's definitely more of a Halloween movie.
Yeah,
But you can I think watch it at Christmas and get kind of a Christmassy vibe from it because of the end. But it's the whole movie's Halloween.
Yeah.
So the movie's definitely more Halloween. Yeah, in my opinion. What about you?
I think actually I'm like 50-50 with each, to
Okay.
be honest. Because if I'm watching it during October, there's all the pumpkins, there's all the monsters and this and that. But if you're watching it during December, they still do have where he goes to Christmas Town and he's drawing up his Santa outfit and he's got gifts and you know what I mean. So like I kind of like I can put myself in the movie at both times of the year.
Totally. Yeah.
Anyways, so that's cool, man. Happy holidays. It was fun to do Home Alone. That was a really good, successful movie in the 90s, and it's still good today, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's get into our movie news. Do you have anything?
Yes, I do, but you go first.
All right. I think this is cool. Are you a fan of the movie Taken?
Yes.
Are you a fan of all three of them?
No.
I heard somebody say this one time, and it was funny. They're like, they should have just made a Taken 4, and then for the fifth one, they could have just taken a break and called it Take 5. I thought that was funny. I'm so sick. All right. Anyways, the reason why I asked you that is because I'm a fan of that too, and NBC is making a Taken show.
I actually knew that.
Did you?
Yep.
It's coming February 27th, and I watched the trailer for it today, and I'm gonna have to like watch a few episodes to get like used to the main character, but I think it looks cool. A lot of action, and it's not like they're deviating from the story like a sub story.
Yeah.
They're using the same main character, but they're making him younger, like how he got into Where.
Ah.
Yeah,
That's
you didn't know that?
interesting. No.
Yeah, they're using a younger guy, same character as Liam Neeson, but he's younger, and it's showing how he's like somebody he loved got killed or something. And so he's getting into like the special ops and stuff and all that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm like, it could be good, could be bad, but I'm going to give it definitely a solid shot.
Cool.
What's your movie news?
My movie news is for a trailer that I just saw yesterday for a new movie coming out in theaters soon. It's called A Cure for Wellness.
Oh, it sounds familiar. What is it?
I can't name any of the stars in the movie, but the story, the movie itself looks good in my opinion. Like it starts with like a guy and he like goes to like an insane asylum to like check it out. He's like a doctor, or like a researcher or some kind, and he's like doing some kind of research or some shit like that. And he goes there and they like convince him while he's there that he's insane and he needs to stay there, and he finds out like the whole place is a conspiracy.
What?
And like it's like, yeah, the medicine that they're giving people there is like not legit, and it like has other effects that it's not supposed to have. Dude, you need to watch the trailer. It looks really good.
What genre?
Drama
It's a drama.
thriller.
Okay, this
Yeah.
could get good. Mm-hmm. While this popped in my head before we finished recording this episode, I wanted to try and clarify something that we talked about in Rogue One.
Okay.
Because I did a lot of research after our last episode, because it was bothering me that the guy who adopted Princess Leia,
Right.
whatever his name is, remember I told you he mentioned something about like the Jedi, and like I could trust her with my life.
Yeah,
That's the line. He says, I would trust her with my life.
that's right. Okay.
So I looked it up now. And I was like, who is her? Who is he talking about, right? There's in the Star Wars universe, there's another female Jedi. I don't remember her name. They could possibly be talking about her. But what a lot of people were saying was he was talking about Princess Leia, because he wasn't talking about the Jedi when he said her. What he was saying was like, I have a friend who's been in hiding or something, and she goes, the Jedi. And he goes, yeah, I need to get the plans to him. And she says, like, it's got to be somebody, like, that you can trust or something. And he goes, I would trust her with my life.
That makes sense.
What he's saying, if this is right, then what he's saying is, I need to get these plans to the Jedi, and I'm going to have Princess Leia send the message to Ben Kenobi.
Oh, okay.
And can we trust her? I would trust her with my life.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. So, yeah.
But at the time, they didn't have the plans yet. So, like, how did he know it was going to be, like, a surefire thing? Like, I'm going to go tell him that Princess Leia is going to send a message. Well, she didn't have the plans yet.
I have no idea. I need to see it again.
Yeah, me too. There's way too many questions to ask.
Yeah.
I've listened to a lot of reviews and podcast episodes about it. Yeah, there's a lot to it. Okay, cool. So next week, we already kind of said in the episode we're going to do The Strangers, but I forgot that we already spoke about this previous. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the show Stranger Things. We're going to have a discussion about the whole first season, what we liked, the ups and downs, our favorite characters, favorite plot holes, and all that stuff. And things we're looking forward to about next season, which is coming out next year.
Yeah, my bad. I forgot about our earlier discussion to do that, but I'm very excited to talk about that show.
Me too, man. I started rewatching it, and my wife's grandmother came down for the holidays, and she was watching Netflix, and we were like, "Have you seen Stranger Things?" And she was like, "No." And she's a huge like movie and TV watcher.
Okay.
You know, not like your average like old lady who just like doesn't know how to turn a cable box on. Like, you know, she's got iPhones and stuff. So like she was watching it, and she like binge watched it in like 2 days. Yeah. Like nonstop, just like sat in front of the TV and watched it. And she was like, excellent. And I was like, yeah. So I can't wait to just talk about that show next week, man. I'm so excited to do that.
Me too, dude. I love that show. Thank you.
And starting next week, by the way, our episodes are going to start coming out on Monday. So everyone can expect that. Okay, no more of this Wednesday episode. It's going to be Monday to start your week in the right way.
Monday Movie Men.
Monday Movie Men. Nice. All right, let's get into our contact information. You can go first, Mr. B.
Okay. First, I'd like to mention my YouTube channel, as always. It's called Being Scared, where I narrate scary stories, true and fiction. I put a lot of effort into it. It would be really cool if you'd go check it out if scary and horror is your thing. You can email me at beingscared86@gmail.com. You can look me up on Twitter at being_scared. You can look me up on Instagram at being_scared, or you can look me up on Facebook. You just go to the search bar, type in Being Scared, and I'll pop up.
And you can find me, you can email me at moviemen@yahoo.com. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the same name, and that's just moviemen_. You can also, if you want to, go onto YouTube. I have a YouTube channel that has the exact same podcast you're listening to right now on it, so go check it out if you want to. That would be Greg and Mr. B Podcast.
Subscribe.
If not, I don't care. Just download the episode. That's all I care about, is that we get to have our opinions and our thoughts shared with whoever listens. And thank you, everybody who's listening so far. And by the way, if you're listening to this on iTunes, please give it a 5-star rating.
Please.
And leave ratings and review for us, because I would really appreciate your thoughts and reviews. So thanks a lot. Anything else you want to add before we end this, Mr. B?
Nope.
All right. One last thing I want to say real quick. Carrie Fisher, you were a great Princess Leia.
Rest in peace.
You were our favorite princess of all time. Even more than Jasmine, and she was smoking hot.
So was Princess Leia.
May the Force be with you for always. Have a good week, everybody.